Hey guys, so today I'm gonna be using Claude as a complete beginner and I'll try to create a tiny pixel game from scratch. And the game idea is gonna be super small, something like Flappy Bird, and one screen, one man mechanic, easy controls, and it's gonna be something that actually be prototyped fast. But instead of only asking Claude to give me an idea about the video game, I want to test the whole Claude workflow. And then we'll turn all of that into a prop into oh my gosh, a proper game plan. See, this is why I use AI for my video. I couldn't even speak. The goal is gonna be simple. By the end of this, I want to have a clear pixel game concept. We're gonna have a design document, we're gonna have a prototype checklist, and a launch packet that I could actually use. So this video should give you like a practical way to understand what each feature does and when we should use it. Let's start with the setup. Before we jump into the video, make sure to subscribe to our channel. It's AI Fire, and here we're gonna bring you the latest AI news. We're gonna break down AI practical workflows, prompt engineering techniques, and real examples so that you can use for your work. Now let's jump into it. Before the prompt, you should understand what you're opening. Claude is like the workspace for thinking, writing, researching, analyzing files, building artifacts, and organizing repeatable work. The chat is only like a starting point. And the real values of Claude only come when the chat works with the models, the web search, the uploads, the artifacts, projects, memories, skills, connectors, research mode, and coding tools. So for this tutorial, all of that features gonna connect back to one example, a tiny arcade game. And that keeps the workflow practical. You see where each Claude feature fits instead of learning a random list of buttons. Let's go to our first decision, the model. As you can see, the model is going to be around here. Here we have Opus 0.47, Sonnet 4.6, Haiku 4.5, and they already give you description for how the models work. So for Opus 4.7, we're going to use it when the task needs more careful reasoning, strategy, research, or complex comparison. On Sonnet 4.6, it's going to be for everyday work, as you can see here. It is strong enough for writing, planning, summarizing, brainstorming, and structure out. On Haiku 4.5, it's going to make sense for you with when you want to do quick or simple jobs like short summaries, basic rewrites, and small formatting tasks. Here you can see the adaptive thinking is when the problem needs careful reasoning. It's gonna give Claude more time to work through the task before answering to us. In our workflow today, we're gonna make a pixel game, right? So Sonnet is already enough. If we were comparing competitors or making a full strategy decision, then we're gonna do Opus 4.7 or adaptive thinking, but right now we're just gonna stick with 4.6. So first, I would love Claude to do some research because I don't want Claude to invent everything from a blank space right away. I wanted to look at Simple's arcade game first. So the first move is gonna be grounding, make it understand all the game that's successful, and I would want Claude to check the example, finds repeated patterns, and gives us better raw material before we ask for any ideas on the game. So this is what we're having. And to turn on web search, go to this icon over here and just turn it on. I already have a prompt that I'm going to use, which is search the web for current examples of simple one button arcade game, like a Flappy Bird like game, and tiny pixel games on itch.io. I tell Claude to not create the final concept yet and give me a structured research. So for this feature, it's gonna help with mechanic controls, scrolling loops, obstacle patterns, and visual themes. As you can see, Claude already finished our structure research brief. It gives us 3 journeyers, 16 sprite, and 1 input. So we have journey 1. Notable symbol of each IO is going to be a dance of fire and ice, switch and shoot, particle maze, fox tower, time jump. Let's see about that. As you can see here, giving us a lot of examples, it's doing a very decent job. And this is the summary of the keys takeaway before we move on to the concept. Like, it's gonna tell us about the landscape. It's gonna be fast-paced, minimal input game, The design tension we need to solve is the simplicity of one button games, also their main pitfall, because it can be unintentionally become repetitive button smashing or continuous button holding. So it's actually give us the downfall of this type of game. With all of these information in mind, Claude gonna work better because it's already do a lot of calculating, gathering a bunch of information. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna have it generate the concept. But before we do that, we should know how to prompt it properly. As you can see here, I already have a prompt which is very simple, very vague, which is give me a pixel game idea. And this one almost has no information on it. So Claude does not know your skill level, it doesn't know your target platform, it doesn't know the game size, the art style constraints. Because of that, it's gonna be like a hit or miss. You're not gonna know if you're gonna like the result or not. I wouldn't want to play a game about plants. So to improve Claude outputs, we should do better prompting. And we actually have like a deep dive video into Anthropic's prompt structure that will maximize Claude's output. I will leave the link to that video in the description so that you can check it out. For now, I already have the prompt here. We're gonna copy this. So because of better prompting, like this one, Claude actually gives us very detailed ideas and very close to my expectation. Anyway, I forget to press record the other part I just said, so I'm just gonna do all of that again. We asked Claude to give us 10 ideas, but sometimes you're not gonna have that type of direction. Sometimes it's just gonna be like, oh, I wanna make a video game, but I don't know what it's gonna be about. You don't actually have a very clear direction where you're gonna go, and that is where context interviews gonna help you. So instead of forcing yourself to write such a long prompt like this, you can actually ask Claude to give you the question first. I already tried that, but I'm gonna try again for you to see how it actually works. Here we have a very, very simple prompt, which is, I want to create a tiny 2D pixel arcade game, but I'm not sure what detail I should give you yet. Before generating ideas, interview me first. After I answer, generate 10 tiny pixel arcade game ideas based on my answer. You can also give it example, like you can ask me about control type, character, player movement, scoring, difficulty, etc., etc. So it's gonna ask you a few quick questions like how you want to control the game, and it actually give you like A, B, C, D, or you can actually write something. And by asking these questions, you're gonna know more about what you want. Claude has generated 10 pixel game arcade ideas for us. That's good for our context interview, and now we're going to move to the next section. The next thing we can do is ask it to rank and pick the best game idea for us. The next prompt I'm going to give it is analyze the 10 tiny pixel arcade game ideas you just generated and rank them by simplicity, replayability, prototype, difficulty, how easy they are to explain in one sentence, how realistic they are to prototype in 1 to 3 days. As you can see here, Claude gave us the best idea for beginners is spike drop. It gave us the reasoning why it's the best thing. I'm gonna read it to see if it's actually my type of game. Between ceilings and floor, spikes ran from each side. Spikes appear faster, occasional double spike drop. I really like the flip gravity thing, but I kind of find the spike predictable. Can you change the spike into something else? Into something else more surprising. Cat drop. Oh, that's actually really cute. I like that. We're gonna go with that. I already have a workflow of my own, so we're gonna jump into the next step right now. We're gonna give Claude the real material, like a mood board. Can be like write sheet, sketch, color palette, design note, or competitor references. For a simple game like this, I'm just gonna give Claude like a screenshot. I already gathered some of the material that I think gonna be nice for us. Then Claude can actually extract the visual type, UI patterns, obstacle ideas, color mood, and scope warnings from the file. And I also have my prompt over here, which is analyze these uploaded references from my game, which is cat drop. Extract the visual type, possible mechanic ideas, obstacle patterns, URL style, blah, blah, blah. Claude should give me all of these elements when it's done. It tells a very clear visual story. I'm not sure if it's that clear though. I'm just gathering random images I find on the internet. It gave us the color mood, it gave us the pixel art style and what to replicate, 3 distinct cat silhouettes. Each could behave differently. What to avoid and keep it simple. Don't recreate the full room background detail. What to use green light. Okay, so we have all the documents now. We're gonna move to artifacts. So let's go. So artifacts gonna turn Claude's answer into something you can keep editing directly. For this game, I would love Claude to give me a game design document which include everything that we have. So what I'm gonna do is tell Claude to create this as an artifact. I already have like a prompt and you can read it on the screen. Like create this as an artifact. Expand it into a clean cat drop game design document. Include game title, one sentence hook, player goal, main control, core mechanic, all the thing that Claude already gave us. Make it simple enough for a beginner developer to follow. Okay, let's try it. And as you can see here, Claude actually creating an artifact for us in the chat box. Artifacts is this one is like panel on the right in the form of the HTML file. And when I want to fix something, I'm not going to fix it directly up here, but I'm going to tell Claude what I want to fix. For example, maybe I'm going to want to change the game title into Kitty Drop. I already have this in the current HTML artifact. Replace this text cat drop with Kitty Drop. Keep everything else unchanged. And now it's changed into Kitty Drop. And now we have the file. We're going to go to the next step, which is create a project. So what is a project? A project's going to keep context for one specific workspace. For example, today I'm already finished with all of this and tomorrow I want to do something else. And when I press the new chat, I'm going to have to tell Claude to remember everything again. I'm going to have to brief all of the description again. And I wouldn't want that to happen. So for this example, I'll create a project called Kitty Drop. We can actually do a new project over here, as you can see, or I'm gonna try to add all of this into one project. Like we're gonna start a new project, and it's gonna be Kitty Dropped. And what are you trying to achieve? Make a simple pixel game, and we're gonna create the project. So when we go into here, we're gonna see a new project called Kitty Drop. This chat right here already get moved into projects. Now we're gonna add the instruction. I already have a prompt here. The project instructions. You are helping me design, prototype, and launch a tiny 2D pixel arcade game. Keep every recommendation small and realistic. The game should use one-man mechanic, one screen, simple control, and a high score loop. Avoid complex story, inventory upgrades, and the thing is self-instructions. These instructions right here is going to tell Claude how to behave inside the workspace. And as you can see here, I already dropped in the file that we just made with Claude, which is the game design document. So let's test if the project works, because when we put all the knowledge inside here and when we add the instructions, the project should answer your question based on what you give it. So we're going to test it, like based on the files and instruction in this project, suggest 5 ways to simplify the current game concept without making it less playable. And as you can see, Claude actually used the game design document to understand the current design, and it's actually checking and give us the real solutions, and we don't have to repeat all the things that we just discussed with Claude. We're going to move to the next. While we're at it, I want to show you some definition that maybe you're going to want to know later on with your project. So our project instructions is an instruction only work on the project. Like when you press into the project, it's going to follow the instructions. But we also have something else, which is our personal instruction, and I'm going to show you right here. Let's go to setting and go to general. And in our profile, we're going to have something called instruction for Claude. So as you can see here, is that Claude will keep these in mind across chats and code. We're going to give it some specific instructions, and not only in project, but in our normal chat like this, Claude is going to follow it. So we can ask Claude to give us something like answer with direct tone, practical explanations, and simple formatting. And we also have something else really necessary for you to know. You can go to capabilities, and here is the memory tab. Right now, I'm disabled this memory, but we can ask Claude to generate memory from chat history. And it's like a stable information for us. For example, Claude can remember that I create a practical tutorials about AI tools and creative workflows. And when I ask something, I don't have to tell Claude, oh, I'm doing this practical tutorial or something like that. Claude would remember that directly. We also have something else called skill. So what is skill? Basically, skill are for repeatable tasks. When you usually ask Claude to do something, it can actually become Claude's skill. So in this step, I'm going to show you how to do it for our game. Because you wouldn't want to keep pasting the same prompt over and over again. We should turn that process into a skill itself. So for this project, I'll create a skill for creating game, like a game mechanic skill. And that skill can handle simple game ideas, obstacle systems, scoring loop, difficulty tuning, and prototype plans. And the skill should keep scope small, prefer one-man mechanic, and warn you when an idea becomes too complex. That's my goal for this type of skill. So what we're gonna do, we can go over here, go to customize, go to skill, and in this plus, you can do create skill, and you can do create with Claude, write skill instructions, or you can upload a skill here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create with Claude. I'm gonna ask it to create a Claude skill for designing tiny arcade game mechanics. Ask me any question before creating the skill file. And after asking any necessary question, create the final skill content for this custom Claude skill. Also suggest the folder name for the skill. In the final output, Claude should give me the skill.md content like this. Okay, so we already have the skill here. Let's try to save it into our folder. And now we have the tiny arcade mechanic skill in here. From now on, Claude will actually use the skill whenever I ask Claude to design a video game. We can try it in chat to see if it's actually going to work. Give me an idea for a simple game. So now you can see Claude is actually reading the tiny arcade mechanic skill, and now it's giving us a game that very simple, and I don't need to do the whole prompt again. This is what we want when we do something repeatable, you know what I'm saying? So that's all we need to know for the skill part, and the next thing we're going to try out is the connectors. And connectors let Claude use materials from the tools where your work already lives. For this game workflow, maybe your references are in Google Drive or Notion. So instead of uploading the same document every time, you can ask Claude to put the file from the connector and apply it to the project. That can help with reference documents, assets list, notes, feedback, or planning material. We're gonna start with the connector that actually matches our workflow. For creators like me, Google Drive is usually used, but for teams, Notion or Slack may matter more. And the goal is simple. We're just gonna keep the source material where it already lives and let Claude use it when needed. You go here, and then you go to settings, and here you have a connector down here, and you press into it. As you can see right now, I'm connecting my Claude into Google Calendar, Google Drive, and Zapier. Now I'm gonna remove this Google Drive so that I can show you real quick how it's done. I'm gonna remove it. So in our chat right here, you're gonna go to this plus icon, you go to connectors, and you add connectors. And it's gonna pop up a directory like this. And I'm gonna add my Google Drive email, and here you have from Drive, which is from now on, and I can tell it to check my files from my Drive to pull all the updated information for me. For example, we're gonna try something with our game, like projects, go to Kitty Job, how can I help you today? I'm gonna have a prompt for it, which is use my Google Drive connector, find my Kitty Job references note, and use it to update the game design document. As you can see here, I'm having my Kitty Drop references note, and I'm putting two pictures, which is the rat, our reference for the main characters, and the screen layout. So let's see how Claude gonna do with this. And as you can see, two images reference is actually found the folder for me, like a rat sketch and a start screen layout. A character sketch of the player character. This confirms you've moved away from mouse as a vague concept. You have an actual rat design in mind, as you can see. And the start screen layout, a layout sketch for the start screen UI, which means you've already thought past the prototype and have a visual concept of how player first see the game. What should change in the GDD based on the reference? See? And now I'm gonna ask them to apply these changes. So as you can see here, we have had the updated GDD, and here's what's changed. First, it used to be mouse, but now they changed it into rat. So as you can see, because we have the connectors, we don't have to repeat much stuff about it. Of course, if you put a lot of content in here, it's going to work better and it's going to be more valuable for this type of search. But because I'm doing it as an example, I wouldn't want to do it too complicated, but you know how it works already. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to download this cat drop GDD v2 into my project, and I'm going to update it. We have all learned how to do the connectors in Claude. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to try out the research mode. Press into the plus button, and you're going to see something called research over here. research mode is useful when one quick search is too shallow, like it doesn't give you too much information that you need. We're going to use research mode for competitor research, market research, topic gaps, tool comparisons. For this game example, I would use it before finalizing the game direction or writing in the launch page. I'm going to ask Claude to research simple one button arcade games. And Claude can compare sources and synthesize the findings into practical recommendations. Our project, I think it's more helpful if we go there. Like a kitty trap over here. I'm gonna turn on the research mode. And I'm asking Claude to research simple one button arcade games. And it's gonna find common mechanics, scoring loops, difficulty patterns, store pay copy patterns, and why players replay them. And it's gonna explain these findings into practical recommendations for my tiny pixel arcade game. I'm just gonna fix it for my kitty drop game. Okay, let's go. And as you can see here, it takes Claude about 7 minutes to actually get everything done, which is not a very long time, but it takes longer time comparing to the normal search mode. So our kitty trap design and launch guide is ready. I'm gonna show it to you. It covers core mechanic tuning for the floor or ceiling flip, scoring loop design, a concrete difficulty curve with specific spawn interval numbers. It prioritized through the effects. As we can see here is the game viewer choose, something that make the game more satisfying to play, or the necessary sound effects or visual effects that every game gotta have that effect. Claude actually give us the step-by-step guide and short all of these type of effects by importance, like which one we should prioritize doing first. What's really nice about it is that when we do something and we feel like it's missing, sometimes we don't know what it is, right? And Claude give us a very condensed and informative page, especially for the beginner like me. I would need these type of stuff so that I can make a fulfilling game. And that's it for our research mode. What we're gonna do next is that we're gonna learn about Claude Code and Claude Cowork. So let's jump into it. It's actually come after all of the planning workflow. For Claude Code, we're going to use it when the game concept is clear and we want to build a prototype. The design doc gives Claude a clearer target, so the code step becomes easier. And for this game, a browser's prototype with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript would be enough. And Cloud Cowork is for multi-step on your computer, like organizing files, preparing launch assets, or moving material between tools. Like it actually connects to your laptop and work on your laptop for you. And I would learn the core Cloud workflow first because they're a little bit more complicated. And once the project setup feels natural, the code and the code work will become much easier to use. Now we're gonna move to Cloud Code so that we can create the prototype. We're gonna have to create a GitHub account first, which is here. This is my GitHub account. What I did with my GitHub account is I go here and create a new repo. It's already here, but you can create a new one by pressing the new button here. Repository name, do a description really quick. You can choose visibility for public or private is your choice. And remember to tick on the pick me here and then just press create repo. This is what I created. It's very easy. Just type in the name and then the description and remember to enable the readme.md. Remember when we asked Claude to make our HTML file? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna throw in that game design documents that Claude created for you. Just press here and you will have this window. Then just commit changes. And now you have a new catdrop GDD v2 file that just got committed. Over here, you can see on our left, we have the word code. You just press it in here. I already have the kitty drop, which is the repo here, but we wouldn't have a repo here at first. And then there's gonna be a plus here. So when you press it, there's gonna be no repo match. So what we're gonna do this is we're gonna install the Claude GitHub app. Just press into it. When you press into this button, there's going to be a pop-up window and Claude's going to ask you the access to your GitHub account. Go to settings, go to connectors, and when you have GitHub integration here, that's when you press connect. And it's going to automatically connect to your GitHub integration. What we're going to do next is I'm going to give it a prompt to read the files and start building a prototype. The prompt is I asked Claude to read it, turn it to an MVP playable browser prototype, use plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. access to create stuff like this, and you can actually pause the screen to look at the prompt, or if you want the prompt, I'm gonna send it to you if you comment down below. This is what we're gonna do. Here we have enable notifications, get notified when your task complete. So I'm gonna do that. So after everything's done, Claude actually give us a pull request. So let's press it. Okay. When we pressed everything, now we're gonna do the merge pull request. Confirm merge. And as you can see, our pull request is successfully merged and closed. All of the files are finished. The Claude code is also telling us to open the index file in any browser to play. So this is how we're gonna open it. First, we're gonna choose the code tab here. We get in the download zip. We save it somewhere around here. I already saved the files first, so you can go ahead and save it. And I'm gonna open these files. We go here, and as you can see, there's a file right here. Pressed into it, and now we have all of the prototype of the game. We're gonna try to play it. So when you reach like a milestone in the game, the cat's gonna start appearing on the ceiling. We're just gonna have to wait for it. There's the cat on the ceiling, and it actually got hotter. The good thing about the prototype is not the final game yet, as you can see, but for a beginner like me, it's like the best thing that I could do right now. I'm not really sure how all of this work, but apparently this is how Claude build prototype for you so that you know what to expect when you step into the game, and it saves a lot of time. The good thing about this game is it kind of followed the mechanic that it gave out at the beginning when we were discussing it. The only thing I don't like is the visual of it, but just so you know, is they were prototyped. Now I can test it, list the issues, and send the issues back to Cloud Code for the next iteration. That is the practical workflow. Like we're gonna design first, we're gonna prototype it, and then we're gonna improve it through specific feedback. So that's it for the Cloud Code workflow. Okay, so we should close the video with some tips, which are the mistakes that we usually make that make Claude become generic. For example, a short prompt usually give a broad answer. We should add context, constraints, and a clear output format. If we skip research, it's gonna make creative work weaker. We should ground the task when current examples should help. Leaving everything inside one long chat creates a very messy context. We should move ongoing work into a project, like organizing them. The next thing is working without files will limit the result. We should upload references, notes, screenshots, or source material where they matter. Too many global rules can mix the context. So we should keep personal references global and the project rules inside the project. Repeating the same long prompt wastes time. Just turn the repeatable work into a skill. Use one model for every task also reduce quality, so match the model to the job. For the Tiny Pixel game, the workflow started with one rough idea. Then we added research, context, ranking, files, and artifacts, a project, a skill, connectors, and a launch packet. That is how I view Claude as a beginner. Start small, set up the workflow properly, and give Claude real context before asking for the final output. So that's it for our video. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want more of this type of content, please let me know in the comments. And please remember to like and subscribe to AI Fire if you find this video useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.